To think.
You're the best.
Well, there's a fun phase. Byron and I are patching up before we head home. Hope the Order folks are treating you all right. You stay out of trouble now.
No more disappearances? No more deaths? It seems justice has been served well.
You're good with the Magus. What now? Got a kitchen and a barterer.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort George. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot. Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an
Yeah? You're good with the Magisters caging anyone up that looks at them funny.
Damn right. You've got a right to live, don't you? Throw 'em in a hole for all that shit. It's the greater good.
I don't think you know you look fairly good if he bit you on the arse.
You got nothing to be scared of.
Yeah? You're good with the Magisters caging anyone up that looks at them funny.
Straight down the right. I've got a right to live, don't I? Throw 'em in a hole for all that shit. It's the greater good.
I don't think you know you look smaller good if it bit you on the arse.
Well now, how's my favorite...
Ifan claps you on...
These people were slain by blades, not voidwoken.
I'll give you fair warning, stranger. Turn around and get out of here unless you want to end up like this treacherous filth.
He throws a kick into the ribs of a nearby corpse.
What? What? How? How'd you know that?
The Magister visibly pales before stammering out a response.
Get away from me, you freak! You don't know anything about me!
More slaughter. Killed by voidwoken, who were killed in turn themselves.
The spirit of a dwarf woman stares despondently at her body and those of her loved ones.
A word of the wise, friend. Never help a sorcerer. They'll only bring death in their wake. No, not me. It was my bloody neighbours. Soft darts and softer wits, the lot of them. I did the right thing. Let the Magisters know what was going on. But when they came for him, he conjured up all these monsters. The Magisters were too busy helping themselves to save me and my own. Murdering sorcerer filth. You're the same as the one who did this. Dragging monsters into our homes and taking none of the responsibility. Get away from me.
The stench of dead voidwoken assails you. The thought occurs, sorcerers caused this.
Source may have caused this, but only Source can set it right. The Magisters are blind to its light.
Source can be used for good or ill. That's what the Magisters need to learn.
Tyrants will dredge up any reason to silence the people. Sure, Source isn't all good, but that don't mean you can change the world order to control it either.
To think, this destruction could have been averted if sorcerers had shown some restraint. Perhaps the Magisters are more justified than I imagined.
Source is like life, a twin of death. The sooner the Magisters accept this, the better.
Nothing's all good, sure as nothing's all bad. Can't throw the whole world in Fort Joy.
executioner's blade hovers inches above a young woman's throat. The nearby magister drones a prayer with all the passion of a silent monk's empty gaze.
The divine does not absolve a traitor of his grace. You've tended not to the seed the seven have planted. Without faith, it cannot flourish.
He gives you a cool look and nods to a bloody corpse in magister's garb.
That's the welcome the Crossleys give to law-abiding magisters. Sorcerers, though, they get bathed and fed. Ain't that right, woman?
The young woman squeezes her eyes shut in terror, but says nothing. The executioner raises his blade. The magister slides his finger along the shivering woman's cheek.
Lucian did have a soft spot for a delicate thing like yourself. We've given the wolves and worms enough to feast on. Besides...
He passes his gaze over the woman's remaining family, then to a corpse bleeding out nearby. A child's corpse.
You prefer death to living with your fatal mistake. I trust you'll all remember your lost little boy the next time you think of defying the Order. Not just one sorcerer, two. Master and apprentice. White Magister Jonathan's got the greenhorn on the ropes right now, no doubt. Only a matter of time before he blabs about that mentor of his. He'll talk. They always do. Now move aside. We've got business elsewhere. So that's the way of it, is it? Let's get this done.
Mercy.
No, please.
Just a child.
Please, I beg you.
Dear Rallick, dear Lucian, save us from this hell!
Can you untie me? Please? Thank you.
Her tear-stained cheeks quiver as she surveys the blood-spattered floorboards.
It's like a bad nightmare. Except you never wake up.
My thanks, stranger. But please, don't go. Not yet.
Magisters are gone. Thank the gods. But it's never really over, is it?
He raises his lifeless face, then lowers it again to contemplate the splintered, bloody boards. The bereaved father weeps uncontrollably. The grieving mother manages a thin smile, even as tears stream down her ruddy face.
Thank you, stranger.
She blinks out more tears, then rubs them away with the back of her hand and puts on the bravest of faces.
To lose a child, it's a mother's worst fear. I never imagined. It's true. What the Magister said, I mean. My brother's boy Gideon. He's got source in him. Now that his folks are gone, we've all he's got. He's been staying with us. We thought we could keep him safe. He's not got a spot of malice. He can't help who he is. But when the Magisters came snooping, he panicked. We all did.
She glances at the Magister corpse and shivers. Another tear drips down her cheek.
Shouldn't have let that Hanag woman near Gid. She said she could teach him, but that's when all the trouble started.
Her mouth falls open, but she does not respond. Instead, she shakes and sobs.
As soon as the Magister fell, Gid knew what he'd done. He didn't even struggle when they dragged him away. Gods know where they took him. I've already lost more than I can bear today. I pray to the Seven I haven't lost him too. You will? Oh, bless you. Bless you.
She ekes out another thin smile.
Make sure he's safe. And if you can, bring him back to me.
Gods have mercy on us!
Are you proud? Proud to stand in the way of justice? Proud that you'd allow Voidwoken to raise the land? Proud of your wrongs?
A crooked sneer surfaces from the spirit's deep pit of contempt.
The Order has something you could never understand. A code.
His sneer widens.
Traitors like you. You have no code. You blindly ricochet from one conflict to the next, stirring the pot while scolding the virtuous. You pretend to have honor, but you're a fraud. you proud? Proud to stand in the way of justice? Proud that you'd allow Voidwoken to raise the land? Proud of...
A crooked sneer surfaces from the spirit's deep pit of contempt.
There's no pride more stubborn than that which comes before the fall.
His sneer widens.
I know your type. You blindly ricochet from one conflict to the next, stirring the pot while scolding the Are you proud? Proud to stand in the way of justice?
A crooked sneer surfaces...
I know that justice starts with duty. I know that it starts with a code.
His sneer widens.
I know your type. You have no code.
They don't pay me to talk. Move along before you find out what they do pay me for.
Come out, sorcerer. No harm will come to you. When he comes out, lads, kill him.
The spirit stares down at his own corpse, a bemused look upon his face. He turns to you, so fast you don't see the movement. His eyes look blank, as if the void has touched them. He tries to speak, but lacks the strength to do more than croak 2 words. He gives you a blank look. Then he raises his hands as if holding a crossbow, points it at you, and pulls the trigger. A mirthless smile spreads across his face, but it does not reach his eyes. He drapes one hand on the hilt of his short sword and gives you a tired look, a look that says, "Try me." He turns towards you, then he breathes deeply through his nose, his tongue extended, as if he were tasting the air.
Since when does rain hire mercenaries? The sorcerer is trapped in the cellar beneath the house. He's dropped one magister, but he won't drop another. We don't need you, Merc. Seen a wound before, have you, Merc? That blade was touched with sauce. Gilgallion suffered before he died. Between you and me, he went a little mad. That was no ordinary blade. That was a sorcerer's weapon. These papers say you're an inquisitor. You don't look like an inquisitor. You don't smell like an inquisitor.
He calmly meets your gaze.
Oh, you smell bad, Merc. But it's all yours. If you ask me, the sorcerer's already dead. But go ahead, you be my guest. First you'll have to put the fire out, at least enough to reach the cellar hatch. Stand back, lads. The Merc's here's gonna show us how it's done. He's gonna bring the sorcerer out unharmed. Because between you and me, if he comes out here armed, we'll kill him on the spot.
The thought occurs. The Magisters have strayed from the path of Lucian.
The louder people shout in a god's name, the duller becomes their understanding of its message. Lucian would be appalled.
Were they ever on it?
That's what happens when you give any few people too much power. It goes straight to their heads, and it's the common folk that pay the price.
Their dedication to their cause is almost admirable, if one could admire a pack of red-cloaked baboons.
Wolves in sheep's clothing. That's all these Magisters are. We've seen it proven time and again.
Nothing like a zealot to get the message wrong. Sometimes I think the people who make the most ruckus are the ones who don't really get it deep down.
The man brandishes a sword, ready to fight. A curious weapon, simple but weighty. It seems out of place in the hands of a simple worker, if that's what he is. You have your doubts, for the sword exudes an evil power.
Back, Magister, or I'll cut your guts for ribbons like I did the last fella. My sword? Let me tell you something. I fought in the Great War. I took this weapon from a Black Ring Scout I killed with my own bare hands. Then I came home to work, and work I did. And what was my reward? This is my reward. My house burned down, my neighbors killed, and by Magisters, one of whom I killed. And you would take my sword.
He gives you a long look. Then, with a flourish, he spins the sword towards you, hilt first. It's a simple weapon, weighty, well-made, and well-maintained. It's clean, but it feels tainted. He nods. You turn away.
Stand back there. Stand back there.
Ha! Did you fail, Lurk? You'll have to do better than that, Lurk. I'll need proof. I'll be the judge of that, Lurk. I've had enough of you, Lurk. Hey, lads! Get him!
Has it turned on us or just lost its mind?
Sorry.
Has it turned on us or just lost its mind?
Sorry.
This was my father's house.
He sighs.
Well, there's nothing left for me here.
If he were the crying type, he'd shed a tear, but that doesn't seem to be his way. You leave him to it.
Sorry. Sorry.
The spirit stares down at his own corpse, a bemused look upon his face.
Aye, the giant takes notice of its charges. Ask away, chief. How to explain it to us? Do you think giants understand chivalric orders? Can they conceive of honor, of faith? Oh, Quercus, I am not talking down to it. Quite literally the opposite, in fact. I just worry it won't treat a group of mystic squirrel knights forming a doomsday cult dedicated to ending the world with a giant acorn with the seriousness it deserves. Ah, truly? Why, our shield is full of surprises, Quercus. The thing that you must understand about the Knights of Dre is that they are utter fanatics. Nothing matters to them but the return of the Great Acorn and the destruction of the giant races. Other than the destruction of their homes, the deaths of their friends, and watching ancestral forest being turned into farmland. I am perfectly in control, Quercus. Those claw marks were probably on your spine already. Regardless, we must stand against them. I alone have the magical expertise to stop them. Not that it matters. No one else will even listen. For that, if nothing else, you have my thanks. Now, was there anything else?
Sorry. Well now, how's my favorite god woken?
Ifan claps you on the...
Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business.
What's up, Chief?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself still. At least...
Sorry. 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 Sorry.
Who are you?
Suspicious, he examines the document. On realizing it's real, he hands it back, then stands to attention.
I apologize. I didn't know. Admission granted. You, there, guard! Admission granted! Just doing my job. Please.
Realizing it's a lost cause, he swallows hard, then gives you a stiff salute.
In you go, sir. I'll close the gate behind you.
He stands to attention and salutes you.
Go on in, sir. I need to close the gate behind you. Don't hurt me. Like I told them magisters, the sorcerer ain't here. He's holed up in that Crossley house yonder.
The color drains from her face.
Well, I didn't mean... Obviously, look, serves him right for sheltering sorcerers. Magisters told me to stand out front till they caught the sorcerer, and I don't want to upset them when they're on the warpath.
She closes her eyes and begins to whisper.
Everything's gonna be all right. 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 Everything's gonna be all right.
You see yourself in the mirror. It's quite a sight. Eyes closed, she repeats the same phrase over and over.
Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right.
Well now, how's my favorite god woke?
Ifan claps you on... The Magister squints at you, at length.
Careful you don't get in the way up there. Jonathan's blade is ready, and I doubt you'll be caring much who or what he slices.
She's gone to Arx for Lucian's Day.
Oh dear. When you lie like that, don't toy with me, sorcerer. You know where your mistress is, and I know you know it, so talk.
I don't know where her nag's gone. I tell you if I did, I swear on my father's grave.
Oh, he swears. Did you hear that, everyone? He swears. Why, that's almost as good as a pinky promise.
The White Magister swiftly pivots towards you and draws his blade. You recognize his face at once. He's Gareth's friend, Jonathan.
Did you come for the show, then? Good timing. The interrogation scene is over, so we're almost at the climax. Well, aren't you just a walking encyclopedia of knowledge? I took no pleasure in it, but when Dallas wants it done, it gets done. If not by my hand, then another's. Poor Gareth. The order was never for him. His conscience is too strong. He'd rather be good than right.
The sorcerer fidgets, and you notice a thin dagger resting in his palm. He slices away a bit of rope, then looks at you, eyebrows raised.
I like Gareth. Really, I do. But he took his path and I took mine. I know what I see. I see a world burning. And its sorcerers lighting the fires. When I see the flame, I'm putting it out. I've got the problem hanging over there.
He wiggles his unsheathed blade as if it were a child's toy.
And I'm holding a quick and easy solution.
The hanging sorcerer winks at you and cuts another segment of rope. He'll soon be free.
Well, she...
His eyes narrow.
What are you playing at?
The White Magister spins on his heels, just as the hanging sorcerer breaks free of his bond.
A plot twist! I love it! Keeps things interesting.
Finally.
What a show of sauce. You'd give Hanag a run for her money.
He pauses a moment, and the amazement fades from his face.
On your way here, did you see my family, by chance? My aunt and uncle, my cousins, little Henrik? Not all of them.
Gwydion exhales slowly, evenly.
I must go to them. My teacher. She just showed up one day. When she knocked, we figured it must be time. The order had come for me. But it wasn't a Magister who called, not that day. It was a lizard. She wore these incredible robes. Gold-stitched and spotless, as if they'd just been woven. She sensed my source, she said. And she'd come to guide me. I never knew when Hanag would come, or where she would come from. She would just appear. We'd had a few lessons, and then she'd be gone again, without so much as a farewell.
He shakes his head vigorously.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. Besides...
He motions to the devastation encircling you. Corpses, blood, oil, fire.
I've done enough damage. To the valley, to the people here, to my family.
The sorcerer waves goodbye, revealing the rope burns on his wrist from where he'd been bound and hanged.